briefly go over basic attack strategies. This isn't necessarily troop, combinations and all that. Just basic methods of attack, things to consider. First of all, I'm going to start when you're attacking or spying someone. You flash it in. Normally, I'm not a fan of spying someone unless I'm curious to, how many more resources I need to empty out of their city. Other than that, I never spy. I always just act as if that person is ready to defend, and that I need to move as fast as possible to keep them off guard. The reason being is if that person is online and you send a spy and you're waiting on the report, even if you spy, you flash it in, you open the report, you read it, you close it, and then you go to send the attack, that's still at least 60 seconds. Regardless of how fast you move, you're roughly a minute there. That's plenty of time for that player to, do whatever he needs to do to get out of, the situation. Whether it's flip to evade, defend, move his resources, whatever. He may not be able to call for, reinforcements by that time, but he still has a number of options available to him within 60 seconds. He knows you're coming. So that's why I generally don't spy. If you want to, you can, but I've had situations where I could have walked off with a lot of resources, but, I ended up cutting my own throat by spying. So, not going to recommend that. Now, one of the reasons I say you want to flash attack is when I send a spy or an attack at someone, when you're the receiving party, you're going to get a window that looks like this right here, whether you're being spied or attacked. And it used to be if you're a wilds were getting spied or attacked, you got this window as well. Lately, I haven't seen that so much. I think it may be a glitch in the game, maybe a change. With Kabam, you never really know. So anyways, you get two types of reports here. And I'm going to send a spy back at Fat John. And I'm going to show you the difference between having a low-level watchtower and a high-level watchtower, why you want, each. So, as you can see, either party here has a lot of time to react with the incoming spies and all of that. Now, this watchtower is a level 3, so the report's not going to be great. So, I'm going to let the watchtower warning, and it's going to say it's an attack, and that's because it's a low-level watchtower. It's not going to give you all the accurate information. Some of it's going to be wrong. It's going to tell you that it's heading for Sijak, or however you pronounce that, which is this player's city, as you can see here. Now, I'm not sure if that's always like that, but if it's a high-level watchtower, it's going to be accurate. Now, it tells you down to the second here when that attack is going to land, and it appears pretty accurate. So, as you can see, with a level 3 watchtower, you're not getting a whole lot of information here. And it says, on level 3, it tells you, when you're being attacked. That's about it. And over here, you can see if you upgrade more and more, you're getting more and more information. I'm going to flip over to my main account, and I'm going to show you my level 10 watchtower here. And you don't need a level 10, it just shows you the name. That's really the only addition you get for having a level 10. But you get a lot of information out of this. You're going to see the difference between the watchtower reports here. So, it says, the attack has been spotted, it's headed for your city, which is, Corvinus Bros RIP. Based upon the sources, they're attempting to spy upon our Wonder Witches. Right here, it's going to tell you if you're being spied or attacked. If you're being attacked, just pillage, plunder. If you're spied, spy upon your Wonder Witches. It doesn't matter if you're broke; it's still going to say that. The time of when it's going to land. This is game time, not your clock. It tells you if with a level 10 watchtower, it's telling you that person's title, the coordinates where this attack came from, what is being sent, the name of the attacker. If you don't have a level 10, basically this line right here just vanishes. That's the only difference between a level 9 and a level 10. So as you can see, I still have plenty of time to wait for that spy to come in half the time. So, and the 3 minutes it takes, because I started the video a little bit further in the attack, but it took about 3 minutes for that spy to get to me. And in that 3 minutes, basically I could do anything I want. I could to evade, defend, I could go to my allies and start sending resources out. I could go in chat and you say, hey, guys, I need reinforcements, whatever it is I need. However, if I'm simply going to flash this one in, and you can imagine this was an attack, and I'm not going to attack him because he's a fellow member here. He's just not in the alliance to out with this. So flash the attack in. It lands. He had a grand total of like 5 seconds. In 5 seconds, you can close the window, you can get here, and he's pretty much done. You've already hit. And basically, as I said, I don't spy first, generally. I just attack. What I do is I send an attack that's big enough to handle most troops, but it also has enough armored trucks to clean a city out. And I just simply assume, and I only go after cities that I feel are going to be worth my while. And I simply assume that the city I'm hitting, has the resources I want, and if not, then I'm really not losing anything here, but if it does, my ATs can haul it away. And what happens, I just send the attack in and I flash it in, and the receiving party only has a couple seconds to react. It's no time to send your resources out, that's no time to flip to evade or defend. You're pretty much just getting hit and dealing with it. And that is why I flash attacks in. Now, let's say you don't have these cycles to speed up attacks, and you are stuck with letting the attacks go the full effect. As I said, there's a lot of risks here. Besides the fact that that player could react, and also to ambushes, and I've done this to people before who've tried to attack me. Now, basically what you can do here is, for those who don't know, if a player tries to spy, and I'm going to show you what happens when I try to spy myself here. Yeah, that's pretty much me getting spied. But when I tried to spy my main account using Fat John here, I pretty much ran into a wall of sirs. I don't know what he has for resources, I don't know what he has for troops, the thing I know is how snipers he got and how bad I lost. So a little trick to the game, and you're not going to be able to see resources through this method, but if you attack using flicker forms, you actually get a troop count. So if I were to attack, it would say enemy troops defeated 0, because I probably wouldn't lose anything, but rather than just flicker forms here, it'd give me everything, what they have. I would not be able to see, all the different stuff of like his resources and whatnot. I'd pretty much be limited. But it's a way to kind of cheat the game a little bit and get somebody's troop counts to see if they're defending. So basically what I'm saying that is what I would do if you don't have cycles is I send 2 spies and an attack, not a spy, but I send 2 flicker forms and an attack, followed by your main attack. And, if you can't flash, what you try to do is time it to where one spy lands, and then another spy lands about 10 seconds later, and then you want your attack to land a couple seconds after that last spy. So basically it's like, spy, attack. The one spy lands, you quickly go down here, you read your report. Okay, this guy's defending or evading, depending on what the report says. You give it a couple seconds, you let the next spy land. You check again, okay, is he still evading, is he flipped to defend? And then you try to let your attack go in. Now, in that couple seconds, that player could flip to defend. So, he could still ambush you, but it's a much smaller window. If you were able to cycle, use cycles to speed the attacks in, they wouldn't be able to do this in the first place, but not everybody has them. Now, all this method has risks, and I'm going to show you what those are, if I can ever get the window open. So, right here I have spied on Fat John, right? And I'll get back to why this is important later. But basically, your watchtower warning, it tells you down to the second when somebody's going to land. So I knew these 10 flicker forms going to land right at that second. So, I was able to sit there and clock, and be on evade, and when he hits, he's going to look at his report, and he's going to go, okay, this guy's an evade, and sometimes they'll try to flash their main attack in to get me. Well, what I'll be doing is I'm like, okay, he's going to land at 641, and okay, you can imagine this is a little bit further back, and what I'll do is if I'm there and I see that coming, and I see an inexperienced player trying to attack me, I will flip to evade. And then what I'll do is I'll select the defend button, and have my mouse hovering over confirm. And when the number down here changes and goes up 1, and I look up at the clock and see that's right when the attack was estimated to land, I'll hit confirm, and I'll be on defend. So if they try to flash their follow-in attack in, I ambush their troops. Now, 9 out of 10, this has worked for me. I did have one person in random order and confuse me once. So, it's not foolproof, but 9 out of 10 is pretty good odds for ambushing somebody, and you really don't want to be a receiving party. So that's why you always want to try to flash your attacks in if possible. Hey, it's not always possible. It is what it is. Now just going back to the spying reports, when you have a level shapeshifting research, which is this right here, I have level 10, so I get to see resource, troop types, numbers, research, and last login. If you don't have that, your research thing's going to be very blank. You're going to log on here, you might be able to see troop numbers if it's high enough. You're not going to see any research. You're going to see some of the resources maybe if it's high enough, and you're not going to see their last login date. And the reason you want to have level 10 shapeshifting is I can see all troops they have, and if they're on evade or not. If they're on evade, it doesn't show if they're defending. I see the exact counts. I see all the resources. The game doesn't show platinum for some reason. I don't know why. But I can also see exactly what this person has in research. Some people don't understand the importance of that. And if you understand the game a little bit, and if you're trying to build troops, if you can't build in Panorama, I recommend you click on it. And you're going to find that you need level 10 Twilight Warfare and level 10 Spectral Vision. Well, if you look at the researches themselves, for level 10 Twilight Warfare, you need level 10 Crystallography. And you also need level 4 vein mining. So there's certain requirements to build certain troops. So just by looking at this, I can tell that Fat John cannot train Impalers. He cannot train any Alchemists. He probably can't train Reapers because his endurance isn't high enough. I believe it needs to be level 7. And you can find these things in the other guides that we posted on the Facebook. So I can see here that he's going to have anywhere from, Grunts to Nesfuratu. So he's going to have all of these troops, possibly, theoretically, and my Nemesis bats are hiding outside somewhere else, but he can have all the way up to Nos. Any of the other high-end troops, he's not going to have because his research doesn't permit. If you see somebody that has these troops and they have that research, they've pretty much hacked the game. It's probably time to report them rather than waste your time with these guys. So that pretty much explains most of the tactics and attacking, spying, things like that. I think that covers the basics. If anyone has any other questions or I think anything, I'll make another video for it, so just let me know.